Good day, viewers, and welcome to another OnsideSA Soccershow. Joining us shortly from our Fulham studios in the UK will be our correspondent Steve Brahm. But joining me as always, Gavin Radford, our Manning Rangers league winner and Man United supporter who's got a glow to him. Gav, good morning.
Morning, Budge. United playing well. What can I say? Back on the top. I know these teams have got games on hand, but good soccer being played all around. I think maybe we were a little bit lucky last night. Fulham played quite well. But yeah, we'll take it when we can.
Yeah, as far as the Liverpool game goes?
It was always going to be a cagey affair against Liverpool and chances. I think we had the two best chances to win the game. I'm very disappointed in the Liverpool forward line at the moment. That's their heart, their backbone of their team. But just, they're not firing. Firmino not playing well. Salah looks like his head's in another space. So as long as that carries on, we'll take the points.
Well, I'll give you a stat that nobody knew, and I didn't know this until I read it yesterday. This time last year, Liverpool's forward line had scored 23 goals. How many have they scored this year?
Jeez, they haven't won a game. They haven't won a game.
They've scored 24. They've scored more, but obviously the midfield aren't contributing.
Yeah, I think they were about 13, 14 points clear at this stage last year. So they were really firing. Other teams were misfiring. So, but yeah, it's a lot more competitive this year.
Anyway,
the fans not in the stadium, which is causing a lot of panic, I think, among some of the players, and they're just not reaching the heights that they were within the crowd. So yeah, it's very tight all to play for. We're turning now at the halfway stage, so if we can keep going, it'll be great.
As in the comrades, you've got to Drummond, so United fans don't get too carried away. We start as always with our last one standing soccer competition, and we're heading into week 12. We had two people, Clint Heap and Sean Phillips. Now what happened was they'd both selected Wolves to beat West Brom, but talking to them on Friday, I changed the suggested, why don't we take Leeds versus Brighton? And Clint went for Leeds, and Sean obviously had Brighton. Leeds were invisible and Brighton won. So congratulations to Sean Phillips. The bragging rights in the Hillcrest area is all yours. But a special thank you to Clint Heap for his sporting gesture. Our next competition starts next Saturday, the 30th of January. We will have 6 consecutive weekend rounds because on the 2nd and 3rd of February, which is a midweek, there is a round, but it's a nightmare having the second round after that. So it'll be from the 6th, 13th, 20th, 27th of February, and rounds 5 or 6 will be March 6 and 13. We now go over to the UK for Stevie Brahm, a Fulham supporter who, to me, I think should be a little bit disappointed after last night's result. Good morning, Steve.
Morning, Buzz. Morning, Gav.
Good morning, Steve.
Don't know if you heard my introduction there, but a little bit disappointed for you last night?
Yeah, I think after the last few minutes, when certainly looked for I think everyone thought that deflection of Eric Bailly had just crept in.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately we probably, a lot of pundits afterwards said maybe we might have deserved it. We hung on in there. I think, as somebody said to me last night, the way that we're playing, we've got a Premiership defence but a Championship attack at the moment, and I think that's making the difference. We're just not scoring those goals when the opportunities arise, and I think goals win matches, and we just need to take our chances. But I think here we are, sort of, as Fulham fans, sitting thinking we're a little disappointed we didn't get something out of the game, and we lost to the team top of the table. So I think it's shown that we've come on a long way since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I agree. And also against Chelsea, the way you played there, if Robinson hadn't been sent off, you definitely have got at least a draw, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think, just little things go against you. I mean, that was against Chelsea, we missed a glorious chance to go ahead, and within 30 seconds we'd had a player sent off. Which changed the game, yet we still, kept it tight. So I think I said to you before, the next 2 games in the league could define what's going to happen. We play away at Brighton on Wednesday and away at West Brom next Saturday, and they're key games for us. Yeah. So it's all very well saying we're unlucky against Chelsea or United, but we don't want to be sitting here in a couple of weeks saying we were unlucky against Brighton and West Brom and we're sort of 8-10 points adrift off them.
Yeah. Talking about unlucky, I watched Leicester versus Chelsea. That looked a total mismatch. If Lampard doesn't do something surely he's got to be under pressure.
Yeah, I think so. They actually showed a stat the other day looking at his win ratio compared to the other Chelsea managers that have been there since Abramovich took over, and he's actually bottom. So, I think they'll be loyal to him up to a point, because they haven't been loyal to anybody for that long. And I think if they start falling away, the only thing is, because the way the season's gone, they're not a million miles adrift.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't got a particularly good record. But I think the next few weeks could determine what's happened. Especially as I think he's under pressure, because he was given money in the summer, and players he brought in, as we know, just haven't fired. Tino Werner seems to have forgotten where the goal is, and Kai Havertz is having a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, well, fortunately for them, 5 of the next 6 against the bottom 7 teams, so they are winnable games. Now, West Ham, West Brom, Steve. West Brom surely have got to be gone. That was a terrible performance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I thought they were very fortunate, West Brom, getting results the weekend at Wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, there were a couple of pretty soft penalties. But it gave them a bit of a lifeline, and obviously away from home they picked up those points at Liverpool and sort of Man City. But I think the test is going to come now for West Brom when they start playing teams around them like us.
Yeah.
I think that they are, to me, them and Sheffield United are still clear favourites to go down. But with Big Sam at the helm, he's certainly not going to give up without a fight. Yeah. But you're right, West Ham do what they normally do. They pick up results against the teams sort of below them.
Yeah.
And they're in a very good position at the moment.
Okay. Steve, the Man City, Aston Villa, everyone's complaining about the goal. They'll rewrite that rule, obviously, but Man City were the better team by a mile, weren't they?
Yes, I think so. They'd had enough chances. I mean, Villa obviously kept it tight, and in the end, City sort of got the result they probably deserved, and just starting to put a run together. They're not blowing teams away on the whole. They did to Palace, but that's been few and far between this year. But they're starting to put a bit of a run together, and I think that there's. If United or Liverpool think it's between them, I think they need to factor City in, definitely.
Yeah, I've seen City's next 6 games are all winnable. I think come the end of February, they could be well clear, depending on how United do. Steve, Aston Villa, there's only one league clash on Saturday. Aston Villa host Newcastle. Aston Villa, too good?
You would think so. I mean, Newcastle have been very disappointing, without a win in quite a few now. And I think Villa, are still in a decent position for them, and I think they'd want to sort of bounce back. I'd be very surprised if Newcastle pick anything up.
Yeah, totally agree. Steve, on to the Championship. We've got 4 games this weekend. It kicks off on Friday. Stoke-Watford, that should be a tight game.
Yes, it should. I mean, Watford had a good win last week. You think that, Stoke at home are not bad, but they have dropped points recently, and Watford are just sort of hanging on in there in the playoff position. They sort of dropped down a couple of places last night. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Watford go and get a result. I can't see them losing up there, but they're not playing with the same sort of fluency you'd expect them to with some of the players in their team, but they're still up there.
Yeah. QPR, great result last night, beating Cardiff. I think Derby have got their number. How do you see it? Yeah,
I think that's going to be a close game. I was surprised that QPR haven't done well away from home at all recently. Yeah. Derby came unstuck, I guess, last weekend, but it was their first game that they played, but had a good win this week. So I think it's going to be close. I wouldn't be surprised if it's all square there.
Okay, my boys Preston, result last night. Can we upset Reading?
Yeah, Preston are so up and down this year. I mean, you're probably frustrated at how inconsistent they are. Yeah. Reading, I think, I've been quite impressed with the way Reading have bounced back recently. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they could go there and get a result.
Yeah, and last but not least, Middlesbrough, who another team that can actually cost me money every time I back them, they get beat, against Blackburn Rovers. That should be a good game, Steve.
Yeah, I think it will. I think Borough again have put in a couple of 2 or 3 good results recently. Blackburn have been a little bit disappointing. I sort of tipped them last week. I thought they would Stoke at home, put them under a bit of pressure, got a late equaliser. But I think Borough just starting to turn the corner a bit, and I think they definitely fancy their chances of playoff play. So I think Borough could just edge that. Blackburn don't travel too well.
Yeah. Steve, on to the FA Cup. Obviously, we've got 15 here. I've got to go through 5 of them with you. Southampton, Arsenal. 13-10 Arsenal. How do you see it?
Well, I think it's going to depend on, because they play each other next week in the league.
Yes.
Same game, Southampton, Arsenal. Now, whether or not both managers are going to put out their strongest team in both games. They're obviously going to, I guess, prefer the league. But Arteta, isn't going to want to give up that FA Cup easily. And I think if Arsenal can play a strong team, I fancy them to get a result.
Okay. Your boys, Fulham against Burnley. What are you going to play your reserve, or you rotate your team? How do you see it?
I think that he'll definitely rotate a little bit, but I think he'll put out a strong team.
Yeah, I think so, Steve. Yeah, go for it.
I think so. Exactly. I think there's an opportunity, especially with a draw against Bournemouth or Crawley in the next round.
Yeah.
Having said that, injuries may determine, and obviously we've got a few players out at the moment, but I think he'll play a relatively strong side.
Yeah,
I think that I think as well he wants to give them an opportunity, give them a bit more confidence, and I think that'll be close. I think that we're capable of edging that, but I think maybe just by one.
Yeah, I think you get a result there. Now Brentford play Leicester on Sunday. That should be a good game. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I fancy Leicester. He put out a very strong team when they won at Stoke in the last round. I think he'll put out a strong team again.
Yeah.
They've got a good squad, Leicester. He's got a lot of his players back. I'm not sure what Brentford are going to do because they've got league games. He hasn't been playing strong squads in the cup apart from in the game against Tottenham. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if and he rotates a little bit, Thomas Frey, and I think that Leicester are going to win that.
Okay, now Swansea, Notts Forest. Swansea going well second. I think they're good things. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think so. Again, you wonder whether or not they're going to put out a strong team.
Yeah.
Two championship sides. Forest, picked up a little bit of late, but slipped up
in Middlesbrough
this week.
Yeah.
I'd fancy Swansea to get past Forest.
Okay, and last but not least is a big one, Man United versus Liverpool. Who's going to play what?
Well, I think there will be a little bit of rotation.
Yeah.
I think just the nature of it. But again, they've got strong. Well, I think United have got a stronger squad with Liverpool's injuries.
Yeah.
If Liverpool decide to rest some of their key players, then I think United will be too strong. But I think, based on sort of last week, I think that I heard you earlier. They're just not quite firing Liverpool. There's something just not quite right at the moment. I've just got a feeling United will put out a stronger team, and I think they'll win that.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Steve, your best bet, please, and your value bet.
I'm going to go for Leicester City. I think he's going to put out a strong team, and I think they're going to be too strong for Brentford. Even though Brentford are playing well, but I think Leicester, looking especially away from home, they look really good to me. And my value bet, I think I'm going to go for Reading. I think at 2-1. I think that they're playing some nice football at the moment. Had a good win during the week.
Yes.
So, I'm sure you hope me.
I'm sure you're totally stirring the pot, but I'll give you that. They are playing well. And as far as an upset in the FA Cup goes, Steve, who would you chance if you're looking for an upset?
It's a tough one because
you don't know who's going to play what. Yeah.
Who's going to play what. I don't think they're the sort of very lower league teams. So, teams like the sort of Chorley, I can't see them upsetting Wolves, even Wolves rest players. Crawley have got a coronavirus outbreak, so it's quite possible their game isn't going to go ahead. Okay. So I don't think any of the very small teams are going to upset anybody. I just think that the bigger team squads are too strong. So it's hard to call one. So. I think if you look for it's sort of upset, you think, well, maybe Southampton will beat Arsenal.
Yeah, I was going to say, somewhere around 2-1 there.
Cup holders with a good tradition, and it really depends if Ralph Hasenhüttl wants to put out his strongest side, and Arteta doesn't. Then I think Southampton could upset them. But I just got a feeling that the cup is something that Arsenal have put out a strong side in last season, and I think they'll do the same again. So.
I'll talk you down for Southampton, but you can sit on the fence, Steve. I understand you give me 2 bets already. Yeah. Steve, just a word of warning: last one standing starts next Saturday, so get studying.
Absolutely. No, it was good on the guys for choosing sort of competing teams.
Yes,
and I'm sure when they plumped for that, I think most people probably thought Leeds were going to win it, and in the end, it was a very poor performance by them. So.
Now that's the definition of last one standing, Steve. You've got to be tactically lucky.
Yeah.
I got stuck out with Liverpool at home.
That's
Unbelievable.
obviously where, I was going to say, that's obviously where I've gone wrong in the last few rounds.
And don't pick Spurs, you know that, Steve.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They'll win it one day for me. You never know.
All right, Steve. Thank you very much. Take care.
Cheers,
All the best.
Cheers, Steve.
Bye. Bye.
Gav, we'll kick off with the lone game in the Premiership, Aston Villa versus Newcastle.
Yeah, I think Aston Villa on the performance last night, they should be too strong
Yeah.
for them. So I'm definitely going Aston Villa to win
Yeah,
this one.
5-10. I saw. Just can't have Newcastle. I
No,
watched them against
Newcastle.
Arsenal, 0 at half time, conceded the one goal, and then they threw the towel in.
Yeah, I think Newcastle are in free fall. I think they're on their way down. They got some big problems in the club. Can't score goals. I think Villa's got this one too.
Yeah, I'll go through the Championship fixture. I know I went through it with Steve quickly. Stoke against Watford. I've backed Stoke to finish above Brentford. I think I've done my money. Stoke have only won 1 of their last 9, but they have drawn 6. But Watford away from home have only won 1 of 5. So I agree with Steve. I think 21-10, the draw in that clash looks the right way. QPR Derby, I fancy Derby. They beat Bournemouth on Tuesday night, very impressive. QPR a Jekyll and Hyde team, but 21-10 Derby. I watched them beat Birmingham 4-0 away. They're not a bad team, they're desperate. I think that's a good bet, Derby at 21-10. My beloved Preston, we've come right lately, but we either win or lose. I think over 2.5 goals at 13-10 is the right play there, but I don't like backing my team because my heart's on the shirt, but I'm hoping we can get a result, but Reading are in form. And Middlesbrough Blackburn have been disappointing of late. Away from home, they've lost 3 of the last 4. And facing a Middlesbrough team who've won 4 of the last 5 at home, I wouldn't put you off taking 15-10 Middlesbrough. On to the FA Cup. Gav, we kick off. Southampton, Arsenal. Now, Arsenal impressive against second half, especially against Newcastle. What team will Southampton pick? That's the trick.
I'm just worried about how many injuries they've still got, and if Danny Ings is back in the team. So if he's back in the team, I'm thinking that Southampton will have a good go at this game. But in saying that, like Steve says, Arsenal got a good heritage in the FA Cup. They seem to always go deep in the tournament. I think they're the holders at the moment. But I'm still leaning towards Southampton. They got the home ground advantage. Also got to travel. If Ings is playing, I'm going to go Southampton.
Okay, I think that's one of those games. Lunchtime kickoff for us. Just wait till the team sheets. Now, when I initially looked at this, I couldn't believe the betting. 15-10 Norwich. They won 8 of the last 10 league games against a Barnsley team who have lost 4 of the last 6. The only problem is, as everybody knows, is you don't know what team they're going to pick out because promotion's their main aim. 15-10 looks a decent price.
Yeah, 15-10. I've got it down as my best bet of the weekend, Norwich. I think these teams will play their normal squads. They want to go deep in a tournament like this. They can make themselves some money and gives the guys a good cup run. 15-10 looks like a great price.
Yeah, on paper anyway, as I said, wait for the team, but I fancy Norwich. Now, Steve's reported and there was something in the newspaper, Crawley have COVID, so this game may be delayed for a day or two, but if it's not, Bournemouth, surely they've had a couple of bad results. They've got to get back to winning ways here.
Yeah, Bournemouth have been poor the last couple of weeks. But a Crawley town that you think a couple of leagues below them, Bournemouth pushing for promotion. I think Bournemouth will win this quite comfortably.
Yeah. Now, the next game is a funny game because Brighton play Fulham on Wednesday. Are they going to rest their main players? I think they'll play a lot of the squad players. Now, Blackpool knocked out West Brom on penalties. I remember watching it. This is a funny game, Gav.
Yeah, a difficult game for Brighton if they're going to put out a weakened team. Our boy Percy Tau, that's there.
Yeah, I think he'll start.
I think he'll get a game. Not bad on the ball. I think Brighton might just shade this, but it'll be a competitive game.
Yeah, I just don't see the reason not having a full go to try and progress. You get to the 5th round, anything's possible, and Blackpool will have a go. They lack quality. I think Brighton are certainties, but obviously checking the team is the key. Now, the next game is a championship clash between Millwall and Bristol City. Millwall were always a great team early on in the year, but they've only won 1 of their last 8. At home, they haven't won of their last 8. But Bristol City got beat last night, lost the last 4 away from home. The draw a player here?
Yeah, draw's got to be a big play. I mean, Millwall have drawn 5 and lost 3.
Yeah.
Where Bristol have lost all 4. So I would be leaning towards the draw, and maybe Millwall and the draw to win this one.
Yeah, I went both teams to score. I saw 9-10. I thought that was the right way to go. On to our second page, and bottom of the league, Sheffield United host a Plymouth Argyle team who sit 11th in League One. Sheffield United's next 2 games, Man United away and Man City. Would you play your best team here to try and get through and get the confidence up?
Yeah, I would play the best team. I think they will play their best team in this game.
Yeah.
They're a hard-working team, Sheffield United. I think they're showing signs of turning a corner, even though it's a long corner. But yeah, they should be too good for a Plymouth team. Their last 5 games have won 1, lost 4, Sheffield, where Plymouth have won 1, drawn 1, lost 4. So you would be thinking Sheffield United is a standout bet being a Premiership side.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4-10, I think I'll be taking the 4-10.
Yeah, I agree. You've got to, I would have a look. If you're in that Sheffield United change room with hopes of staying in the Premiership, you can't beat Plymouth or Argyle at home. I don't think you can beat anything. So I think the certainties. Now, one team I liked, I watched them beat Watford, but they're second in the Championship. My only concern, especially with the Championship clubs, is some of these sides are neglecting the FA Cup and playing their squad players. Now, Notts Forest, I've watched them. They got beat last night, away from home. They've won 1 of the last 8, drawn 2 and lost 5. If Swansea play their best team gap, 12-10 is a certainty.
Yeah, 12-10 is a big price for a Swansea team. I mean, you don't want to travel all the way out there to go and play them.
Yeah.
Like you say, 1-6 and drawn 3 of their last 9. Team that's very much in form. I think if they made 1 or 2 changes, you would think Forest would make 1 or 2 changes, so the game should even itself out. And then again, Swansea should still win the game. New Forest, Nottingham Forest team that really struggles with scoring goals.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely leaning towards Swansea City.
I fancy Swansea. Now, one team that's in form, West Ham against the League One side, Doncaster Rovers. Doncaster knocked out Blackburn away in the last round, so don't underestimate them, especially when I think David Moyes is going to rest Mikel Antonio and several of his key players. Is this the upset of the round?
It could be an upset, but I've had West Ham in my bets the last couple of weeks in a nice big park.
Yeah.
I think West Ham should be able to outplay them in the passing game. I'm just worried about West Ham's attack. They're relying on the one guy up front.
Mikel Antonio.
He's scoring the goals for them. If he gets rested, I don't know where the goals are going to come from.
Yeah.
So maybe Doncaster will take them deep into the game, but I think West Ham will shade it.
Yeah, the thing is, West Ham, Doncaster, the winners go to Man United or Liverpool. So that's a nice incentive for West Ham. Now, Cheltenham, more known for its famous racing festival, host Man City, look invincible at the moment. 1-10, Gav?
Yeah, this is, we say it week in and week out. Man City are really hitting top form.
Yeah.
They can play a second, third side, and they should be able to get a result here. I just worry about the pitch when they go
pitch is going to be a muddy.
When it's rainy and it's cold and you go into a ground where the ball's bouncing all unevenly. But you would think Man City is the shoe-in, yeah?
Yeah, I saw under 3.5 goals at 7-10. If I'm going to have an interest, that would be it. I think it's going to be a bumpy and icy pitch. And Man City will do enough to get through, but just have a nice practice game. Now, one team that have to win here at Chelsea. Frank Lampard's job is definitely on the line. Invisible against Leicester. Against a London team, Luton Town, will make it difficult. But surely, Gav, Chelsea have got to have too much.
Yeah, Chelsea have to win this game. I mean, if Frank wants to get his players to start believing again,
Yeah.
Tino Werner's got to start getting the ball in the net. They should have too many guns for a Luton team. I think Chelsea will play quite a strong side to win this. And maybe win quite well.
Yeah, he's desperate. He's got so many players in his squad. How good they are, I don't know. As a team, they don't look too good, but they've got to be too good.
I know the price is for the manager to get sacked. If he doesn't get a result here, I think he will be sacked.
Yeah.
That's how close it is.
When you have a look at his next few league games, if they give him a chance, he'll stay in it, I think. Now, Brentford hosts Leicester City. I agree with Steve. I fancy Leicester City, but Varney's having a tweak. It all depends on Brentford. I backed Brentford in the last round to beat Middlesbrough. They played all the kids. If they do that again, they've got no chance. But remember, they did get to the League Cup and gave Spurs a fright in the semi-final. If they play a strong team, this won't be a walkover.
Yeah, this is going to be quite a competitive game because I think Leicester will rest a few players.
Yeah.
I think Brentford, now they're getting deeper into the tournament, should probably stick to more or less their squad system and make it difficult for Leicester. So this is going to be a competitive game. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to an extra time. 27-10 the draw. Could be a player here.
Yeah, only thing is their main man, Tony, got sent off last night, so I don't know if he's available or not, but I think Leicester should have too many guns for Brentford. Now, two teams that don't want the FA Cup, both involved in a relegation fight. Burnley play Liverpool tonight. I fancy Fulham. The luck's got to change one of these days.
Yeah, impressed with Fulham last night. They took United deep into the game. They had a couple of chances in the last 10 minutes. I just wish they would try and play like that for the whole 90 minutes and not wait for the last 10 minutes. But like Steve summed it up and said, they've got a championship strike force and a premiership defence. And that could hold them instead in this game. I think maybe the draw comes into this game as well. Be leaning towards Fulham in the draw.
Okay. Now the big game is obviously Man United, Liverpool. How do you see that?
Well, yes, two teams going to go hammer and tongs the game, but I think they will both make squad changes. United, I think, have just got a little bit more depth in the change that will come about. Liverpool, strike force not firing. United on top of their game at the moment. Tough game again to call. Two big clubs. I've got to lean towards United to win this one.
Yeah, they're in all my bets, 16-10 Man United. Ollie's got all the pressure. Klopp doesn't really want the FA Cup, even though he doesn't want to lose to Man United. I'm all over Man United. Hopefully Egg doesn't come on my face. Otherwise, my two brothers who both support Liverpool will be on my case. But I think Man United will murder them. Everton, dark horses to win the FA Cup. Surely 1-3.
Yeah, no, Everton, I think are too good for Sheffield Wednesday. 1-3. I think it might be a value bet at 1-3. I think that's how much I like them this week.
Saw 9-10 to win by more than one goal in the handicap betting. So that's my play. I fancy that bet, yeah.
Yeah, the guys must shop around and see what those prices are, because if you don't want to take the 1-2-3, there's lots of other options for you to have a look at. Yeah. So yeah, have a look at it.
And is it worth chancing Wickham to upset Jose Mourinho's Tottenham?
No, this will be the next best bet out there for the guys at 1-4 to add to all your doubles and trebles. I think Everton and Spurs are shoo-ins. Yeah. Just add something to it.
Okay, now on to the PSL. We had a lot of midweek fixtures. I won't go through the results because of time constraints. But the big game this Saturday, Mamelodi Sundowns against Morocco Swallows. Any chance Swallows upset them?
Swallows are playing exceptionally well this year. I'm really impressed with them. They had a good game during the week again. I know they drew the match. And Sundowns as well also I think drew their match. Yeah. But I think Sundowns just have too much class for them. We'll just have that bit of finesse in their game to outdo a Swallows team. Yeah, but it should be a very competitive game. Yeah,
I watched Sundowns play Bloem Celtic, and there's still a bit of feeling from the cup final where they beat them 1-0. Sundowns are my best bet of the weekend. Even money, they're in all my bets. Now, I took the betting from one side only because of last night's fixtures. So there was one side that did have early betting. They should be around that price. I think they'll win. I know they've drawn their last two games. I watched them draw 0-0 with SuperSport. A fair result, even though they were the better team. They should have beat Celtic. They have a far bigger squad. Watching the highlights of Swallows and listening to the manager, they're struggling. They lose one or two players, they're gone. I think Sundowns, even money, good things. Now, Black Leopards host Chipper United. Dan, my man, Malaseli, I still think was there. How do you see this?
Yeah, I mean, Black Leopards surprising us all by beating Pirates last week 2-0.
Yeah.
That was
a
shock to the system.
Too. I saw the highlights.
They played very well. I think Dan will come out maybe a little bit defensive on this game, but I know Dan, he trusts you so up the back four, and then you'll try and play a little bit on the break. I think Black Leopards will have all the encouragement of beating Pirates, and I think Black Leopards will win this one at their ground. Yeah,
they got beat 2-0 last night by Cape Town City Black Leopards. I couldn't believe it, but the topsy-turvy. Chipper had a good result, but I think it draws a play, even though I fancy Black Leopards. Now, Baraka beat Stellenbosch 3-2 in Cape Town last night against an AmaZulu team. I watched them play SuperSport. If Benny hadn't have taken the centre forward off, even though one or two of them got injured, they could have upset SuperSport. The penalty I thought was a joke, even though SuperSport were coming. AmaZulu here?
Yeah, they look like they're finding a bit of form and they're starting to get a few passes together. Yeah. I think Benny's taken them back to the training ground and trying to get a passing game with them, which I was quite impressed with them last night. Yeah. 22-10 looks like a big price for an AmaZulu team. We're not scared to travel nowadays. Yeah. I'll be leaning AmaZulu in the draw.
Yeah, that's the way I looked at it. AmaZulu, listening to Benny afterwards, a lot of work on the training ground, which is for me a sign of a great manager, and he'll try and do that. Now, Maritzburg, I backed them yesterday. I watched them beat Chiefs. They were diabolical. They got beat at home 3-0 by TS Galaxy against the Orlando Pirates team who drew with Golden Arrows. On last night's performance, 12-10 is a certainty.
It should be an absolute sitter. But Pirates too, I mean, I don't know what happened to them when they lost to Black Leopards.
It was pouring and they
confidence just drained from them a little bit. They need to bounce back, and I think they're not going to get an easy opportunity against a team that's really lacking confidence and a poor run of form at the moment, Maritzburg. Yeah. So Pirates for me, 12-10.
Yeah. And last night's performance and my bank balance, no doubt. Now, Kaiser Chiefs come back 3-0 winners in midweek. They've won 3 in a row. Stellenbosch under Steve Barker, always difficult. How do you see this one?
Yeah, the biggest worry for Chiefs here is the travelling down to Cape Town to play this team. Steve will have his teams up for this game. When Chiefs come to town, it's like Man United coming to town. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to watch the game. Pressure mounts on the players. They raise their game extra 10-20%. But just Chiefs now, Gavin seemed to have just rolled them over to a new mode at the moment. I think Chiefs will win this game, maybe 2-1, 3-1.
Stop giving away silly goals. Nurkovic up front, but it won't be easy. Now, Cape Town City have only lost one at home for a long time. That's when they lost to Chiefs last Saturday against the Golden Arrows team, unbeaten 11, even though 7 have been draws.
Yeah, Golden Arrows looking like a hard team to break down. Yeah. But this is where their run comes to an end. I think Cape Town City are something special at home. I think they will win this game. I think they'll win it maybe 2-0.
All right, 3-1. So you're on the handicap Cape Town City. Yeah. It'll be a tight game with arrows. The draw is always a player. And last but not least, TTM, Shakuma Mudzi at home against a Supersport United team. They've won the last 3 away from home, but they were lucky against AmaZulu. Can they rebound?
Yeah, they'll bounce back. They'll win this game. I think it could be the bet of the weekend in the Premiership. Supersport to win comfortably. Yeah,
5-10. The way they played last night against AmaZulu, they're going to have to improve, but Shakuma have been struggling. On to our weekend bets. We have bets on Saturday and Sunday. We kick off with the Saturday Soccer 6. I've banked Sundowns to beat Swallows. I've gone Black Leopards, win and draw at home against Chipper United. I've gone Stellenbosch and Kaiser Chiefs. I'm going all 3. Likewise in the Baraka FC against AmaZulu, 1, 2 and 3. I don't see Orlando Pirates losing against Maritzburg United, and Aston Villa should surely be too good for Newcastle, 2-1-6. On to the Soccer 13 for Saturday. I'm bankering Aston Villa to beat Newcastle, Swansea to beat Notts Forest, West Ham to beat Doncaster Rovers. I don't see Norwich City losing at Barnsley. I don't see Millwall losing at home to Bristol City. I'm bankering Brighton to beat Blackpool, Sheffield United to beat Plymouth Argyle. Our second page, I'm going Derby County, win and draw at Queen's Park Rangers. I'm going Gillingham, win and draw at home against Rochdale. I'm hoping Peterborough don't get beat at Ipswich Town. I don't see Portsmouth losing at home in the top of the league clash against Hull City. I'm throwing the draw in with Sunderland, win and draw at home against Shrewsbury, and ending up banking Charlton Athletic to beat Swindon Town, 256. On to Sunday, we're Soccer 6. I'm going the field in the Preston North End Reading game. I'm going Leicester City, win and draw at Brentford. I'm going Fulham, win and draw at home against Burnley. I'm going the field in the Middlesbrough versus Blackburn Rovers clash, and chancing Man United to beat Liverpool, and I think Everton will be too good for Sheffield Wednesday, 2-1-6. On to our Sunday Soccer 10. I'm banking Chelsea to beat Luton Town. I'm going the field in the Preston North End Reading fixture. I don't see Leicester City losing at Brentford. I'm going Fulham, win and draw at home against Burnley. I think Bayern Munich will be too good for Schalke. Our second page, I'm going the field in the Middlesbrough Blackburn Rovers game. I've thrown the draw in with Barcelona against Elche, especially as Lionel Messi is due to be suspended. I've thrown the draw in with Man United at home against Liverpool, and ending with 2 bankers, Atletico Madrid to beat Valencia and Everton to be too good for Sheffield Wednesday. On to our budgies bets for the weekend. Starting off with an FA Cup quad. I'm going Man United to beat Liverpool. I think Sheffield United will be too good for Plymouth Argyle. I fancy Swansea to beat Nottingham Forest and Everton to beat Sheffield Wednesday by more than 1 goal. 2,800-200. Our championship, I've got a treble. I fancy Derby County to be too good for QPR. And I'm going over 2.5 goals in the Middlesbrough Blackburn Rovers and Preston Reading matches. 2,900-200. Our team goals only quartet. I'm going Chelsea to score over 2.5 goals against Luton. I think Derby will score over 1.5 goals at QPR. And I fancy Man United to grab at least a couple against Liverpool. And I'm chancing Doncaster Rovers to score at West Ham. I thought 20-1 was a great interest. 4,200. My both teams to score sides are Barnsley Norwich, Brentford Leicester, Fulham Burnley, Millwall Bristol City, and Preston Reading, 3,800-200. Our PSL quad, I'm going for Black Leopards to beat Chippa United. I think Mamelodi Sundowns will be too good for Morocco Swallows. Hoping Supersport United are too good for TTM. And I'm going for Amazulu to win or draw at Baraka FC, 10-1, 2,000 to 200. And I Carlos King 6 or Nexa. I'm going Everton to beat Sheffield Wednesday. I'm going for Man United to be too good for Liverpool. I fancy Sheffield United to be too good for Plymouth Argyle. Siding with Atletico Madrid to beat Valencia. Bayern Munich to beat Schalke. And Supersport United to end our 6-bet against Shakuma Madzi at 12-1, 2,400 to 200. Gav, you've never been short having a punt. Who are you going with?
Yeah, this weekend I'm going to go with Aston Villa to win. I think they'll be too good for Newcastle.
Yep.
Newcastle in free fall. Norwich, finally going to have Norwich on my bets. I think they're
15 to 10.
15 to 10 is a great price for them. And then locally, Sundowns. I think they'll be too good for Swallows. That'll give us about 7-8 to 1.
Yeah, Sundowns are my best bet. And my value bet at 16 to 10 has to be Man United. You know, shut a few Liverpool mates of mine up, but should be a good game. As I said, last one standing starts next Saturday, the 30th of January. And as always, please remember to stay on side.